have a question for Jehovah's Witnesses or for anybody else that can give me a good, reasonable answer. I'm going to read to you in the Bible, Revelation chapter 20, verses 4 and 5. And I saw thrones, and there were those who sat down on them, and power of judging was given them. Yes, I saw the souls of those executed with the axe for the witness they bore to Jesus and for speaking about God, and those who had worshipped neither the wild beast nor its image, and who had not received the mark upon their forehead and upon their hand. And they came to life and ruled as kings with the Christ for 1,000 years. The rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. This is the first resurrection. So again, verse 5 says, the rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. Now, being born a Jehovah's Witness, we were taught that the dead come to life after Armageddon, at the beginning of the 1,000-year rule of Jesus Christ. So I was listening to this on my audio Bible, and it seemed like I was hearing this for the first time, and I was scratching my head, and I says, why does it say the end of the 1,000 years? Who comes to life at the end of the 1,000 years? It says the rest of the dead. And how come I'm not noticing this before? I've read Revelation many times. I must have heard it before and forgotten. So yesterday, there were some Jehovah's Witnesses preaching on the street, and I came up to them, and they were two older men, older than me, and I said I was reading in my Bible that the resurrection of the dead happened at the end of the 1,000 years, and they both said no, it's the beginning. I said, that's what the Bible says. I can show you. So they let me use they had their phone Bible app, and we found the verse together, and they were both surprised, and neither of them were able to explain what it meant. Which I found a little bit amazing, because Jehovah's Witnesses have printed this book in 1988, a verse-by-verse discussion of Revelation explaining it, and yet they weren't able to explain this verse. So both of them check the internet to find out the Watchtower explanation of this verse. And what the Watchtower, what they told me, what they read to me, explained to me, and showed me on their phone. I don't know if it's the most recent explanation, because Watchtower is constantly updating their interpretations and explanations. Was that this is a spiritual resurrection. A spiritual resurrection. And the verse they used to explain this was Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 1. which says, "Furthermore, it is you God made alive while you were dead, while you were dead in your trespasses and sins." So when he showed me this verse, I'm saying, well, that's talking about being spiritually dead. And at first, he hesitated to answer me, as if he was trying to work this out, and as if it was kind of confusing him too. So I says, talking about being spiritually dead. And he said, he hesitated, and then said yes, and so he was saying, I don't know if he was deviating from what he was reading on his phone, but he was saying we no longer need a mediator, Jesus Christ, at the end of the 1,000 years, because we are perfect. We are no longer dead in our trespasses. When I was hearing this, I'm not saying that this is a false explanation, but to me, this seemed like a real stretch to make this work. But at the same time, the alternative, and this is something I kind of have foggy recollection of hearing in the past, is that there can't be 2,000 years of being raised to perfection. If it wouldn't make, it kind of wouldn't make sense if the dead came to life at the end of the 1,000 years. But if you read the entire Revelation chapter 20, it seems to be hinting at it. So everything has to fit together. Like, according to the Jehovah's Witness explanation of Revelation, there's an Armageddon, there's a 1,000-year rule of Christ when Satan and the demons are thrown into the abyss for the 1,000 years. The dead are judged. They're raised to human perfection. Satan is led out of the abyss. Humans are tested again in their perfect state. This idea of a resurrection happening at the end of the 1,000 years would throw a big monkey wrench into that whole explanation. So, I'll just read it again. It says, "The rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended." Until. And when he was explaining to me, he said by the end of the 1,000 years. I said, no, it doesn't say by the end. It says they didn't come to life until they were ended, which means something different. So if I'd like to hear your feedback on this.